Right. What's up, everyone? Welcome back. I am Akra Power, and today I'm going to talk about something called embracing discomfort. So, discomfort is something that we usually try to avoid, but there are many types of discomfort. Discomfort where in situation you don't want to be in, the situation that can be harmful for you. So, there are situations that does the first type that is not good for you, and you should leave the discomfort and find a suitable place for you. Like leaving a person you don't like, leaving a toxic person, or leaving a place that you feel like is not productive for you. But the second type of discomfort is the discomfort when you do hard things, the things that are actually kind of sometimes productive to you, for example, or good for you, or is necessary for you to achieve particular goals. So that discomfort is necessary for a long-term commitment of stuff. So to be doing stuff in life, we always have to embrace discomfort. Now, me for myself, for example, of some things that I feel that is not really exactly comfortable for me, I wake up early even though I want to sleep more. That's the discomfort. I try to walk around the house, exercise, even though my body feels lazy, doesn't want to work. I do that to train my body. After I train my body, I train my mind. I meditate in silence. Many people would like wake up and doom scroll, I don't know. But for me, I need to keep a peace in mind. Although in the first a couple of days to get away from the bad habit, I have to really resist the phone. It's really hard. But after a few days, my brain get used to it, and it became easier and easier. So another example, like taking a cold shower, writing an essay on yourself. Don't rely on ChatGPT. Go to a crowded place. I myself am a person who has anxiety, social anxiety, but sometimes I need to do stuff in public space. I need to do public things and connect with people. So I maybe not really like pretend like everything is normal, but I try to be natural and don't think too much of it, because when I think too much of it, it might become unbearable for me. I just like let the mind wander and get lost in the main purpose of why I am there, what I'm doing, rather than focus on what other people think of me. So basically a way not to care about other people think. So yeah, there are various examples of discomfort when you try exercise, you try discipline yourself. Discomfort comes from many things. When you're working for a project, build a startup, there's always difficult things. Life is always difficult. Ain't no one got that easy. You can say that many people get that easy for some aspect, but you don't know the full picture. That's the thing. You don't know their life, and some things that are easy to some people can be difficult for some other people, right? And they may have the problems that you don't have, and you have the problems that they don't have. So if you guys look into each other and say, oh, just have an easy life, you guys don't understand by yourself. That's why I'm making this video to talk about a thing called intentional discomfort. I'm still in my journey to grow from that, to embrace the discomfort in everyday activities, From then, after I master myself, master the work I do, I can finally master the discomfort when I do big things, because big things always start from small things. So, right. You know about discomfort already, I just explained. Now I will continue to move on to the next section, okay? So the next section is why discomfort is your secret weapon. I need to debunk the concept of comfort zone here. Now, actually, staying comfortable limits growth and leads to stagnation. Why? Comfortable things are often easy, and when you do easy things more than regularly enough, you start to get used to it. You start to become less prone to do hard things. When you see hard things, you start to feel resistance. So to do easy things, and many easy things are actually harmful for you, like doom scrolling, eating junk food, hanging out with bad people, or staying at home all day, not doing exercise, not doing homework, right? So when you do hard things and you leave your comfort zones, you say, okay, today I will not doing the same things that I have been doing for a couple of months or years. I decide to change myself, but that change has to start small. It has to go gradually. What I mean is, you don't change everything at once. You try to change the worst habits that you have. You try to remove that first, and then you go gradually, and you go to take up a new habit, something like that. In modern world, we need many skills to be exceed at what we do. So in comfort zone, you can't really subject yourself to new ideas or force yourself to learn new skills. That's basically the thing. You have to be uncomfortable. You learn new skills, even though you in your mind you just want to get out there. You just want to lie in bed and sleep all day. But no, you decide to tell yourself, no, I need these skills and I'm gonna learn it in this amount of days, and I'm gonna set a accurate plan for it, right? When you do hard things, that's basically every time that you resist your bad habit, resist doing the same old things, the same easy things, you basically push boundaries in your mental mind. And pushing boundaries have some psychological and physiological benefits. So this is the science of adaptation. Human brain is really good at adapting, right? We can live in any environment. Just figuratively speaking, just we can live in any kind of situation that nature set out for us. We are the survivor. We have skills and we have good instincts and we have a good adaptation to stuff. So that applies to everything. If we can get used to bad habits, we can adapt to good habits. So when you push boundaries, basically the neuroplasticity in your brain change. What is neuroplasticity? Hold on, this part I don't actually remember, so I'm gonna search Google. So basically neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize the structure, functions, and connections throughout life in response to learning, experience, or injury. So basically, when you push boundaries, you do new things that are strange to your brain, it starts to reconstruct the neuron pathway when you normally do other things. So the previous thing that you like, let's say you often doom scroll, right? Now you say, no, today, for this moment only, I will not doom scroll. Now that is a big decision. Why? I will not doom scroll. I will write a journal instead. So when you write journal, your brain set up a new pathway for your brain. Your brain learn to how to write, experience writing, and the pathway of doom scroll in this certain amount of time, in this certain situation, starts to weaken. That pathway weakens, and the next time you may feel easier to resist doom scrolling. That's what I'm touching on here. It's actually the scientifically based, and the more you do particular stuff, the more you will get used to it. You become more resilient after all. Resilient at avoiding bad things. You know that is bad. You have always been knowing that it is bad for you. But you cannot get yourself to quit because the power habit is too powerful. People, that you have to understand human brain is relies on habit and relies on what's familiar. Even though your willpower is strong, your urge comes from the old pathway. It urges you to do the same old stuff. So when you resist that, you basically know, I'm going to change that pathway actively. It will be hard because it is easy to get lost in doing bad things at first, right? You're lost in doing something comfortable. Therefore, it must be hard to change that comfortability. I don't think that's the word, but I just made that up. Well, yeah, in comfort zone you can really grow. Only in discomfort, and you must find what's good for you in this discomfort. But it's not always discomfort. It's just in a moment. It will change. The discomfort will relieve over time when the more you do it, and to a certain time, you will feel that it is no longer discomfort anymore. It's actually bearable. Actually, even you get used to it. You get familiar with it. You see it as normal, set up as a new normal thing in your life. When you change the neuroplasticity, right? You adapt to stuff, and you improve your problem-solving skills. That is a very good skills that everybody needs to have. The problem-solving skill. I think I would touch on that subject on another video in the future, problem-solving skills, but you can search Google for now and to see how important that skill is. It applies to everything in your daily life, man. I actively try to improve that skill of mine every day, myself. When I see a problem, I must think of how the best way I can solve that problem. The best attitude I have for that, right? So you must priority, first of all, is your mental health, is your thinking skills, is your attitude towards certain problems, certain situations. Because when you have good attitude, you have good thinking skills, you can literally solve everything. Not everything is solvable, but when you have good attitude, you already have 9% of solving it. That's what I'm saying. So beyond the physical, intentional discomfort isn't just about the cold plunges. It's about confronting social anxieties, learning new things, and embracing vulnerability. Just like when you try to quit something, like an addiction that you have, you try to quit cigarette. You don't just quit it. You don't just put down the cigarette and say, oh, I'm not doing that today. I guess every time when I think of it, I just don't do it. That doesn't work. It doesn't work that way. You must find a new thing for yourself to replace that thing you want to quit. So for discomfort, it's actually another replacement of when you try to quit the comfort things. It may not make sense here, but let's put up an example, right? You have social anxieties, just like me. You cannot change that by, well, go to a crowded place alone. You have to actually interact with people, because when you interact, you set up new pathway, and that pathway will replace the pathway of how you feel when you're at home. When you're at home, you feel anxiety, anxious, you feel lonely, stuff like that. That will disappear along with the new pathway you make when you interact with people. You replace the feeling of excitement, it's the feeling of interest in other people, and interest in ideas. Another example is when you learn new things. So when you're lazy, doing discomfort things is really like, not only you feel discomfort, but you train yourself, you condition yourself to not be lazy, basically, to be more hardworking, to be passionate towards goals, and you learn new things. Basically, you have new ideas of things, obviously, and then that neural pathway will replace the lazy pathway that you had. So it has many benefits. Discomfort, intentional discomfort. So for me, a small discomfort is I go to bed early. Normally, like in the past, when I go to bed, I feel the urge of scrolling my phone, and I did. But scrolling my phone will keep me awake. The light keep me awake, and I waste time. In the morning, I feel groggy every single day. But if I just resist that phone, put it somewhere, just sleep in silence. It may be boring. I will eventually fall asleep, and I wake up feeling better. I have better sleep, not just because I sleep early, but because I don't scroll. So, just from one action, it can lead to many benefits. It can also increase your focus on stuff. You can focus better, right? Like discomfort, like a psychological trick. So when you start something, you may not feel like doing that thing at first, but when you started, you already put yourself in a position where it's easier to get into the flow and increase your focus and focus on it. So the result might be you can focus on that thing for longer. Maybe you set out 1 minute to do this thing at first, but so now you find yourself doing that for hours. Deeper self-awareness. Well, because it stems from the fact that you know you're doing the right thing. You improve your self-esteem. You feel like, oh, I'm good, I love myself, I'm doing the right thing for myself, I actually respect myself. And the more you do that, the more you increase the self-awareness of whenever you're doing the bad things for you. You try to touch the junk food, you think, oh, what am I doing? Hold on, this is not the person I am. I eat healthy food only, and eventually you can get rid of the bad habit of eating junk food. Stuff like that. So it can increase the difference, make you to be aware more of yourself, to be really mindful at everything that you do. It even improves your relationships with people, with the people you love, and your friends. It's like you leave the comfort zone and you don't stay silent, and you decide to talk to them, chat to them, ask them how the day goes. Suddenly your relationship became better because you guys understand more about each other. You appear as friendly. Everybody likes you. I will finish talking about the benefits of the intentional discomfort first. Then I will go into the way to do it, right? So there are two more points I want to make about the benefits here. Is that it reframe your thinking of failure. Of course, there are drawbacks when you do intentional discomfort things. You will eventually have some failure. It's not perfect. Some failure along the way. It's not always perfect. You don't try to aim for perfection. You may fall for bad habits again, like once in a couple of days, but it is okay. The thing is, the most important thing is continuing the journey you set out. You always remember what you set out for. You embrace the discomfort that you maybe sometimes along the way you fall out. You may not complete the task as satisfying as you want, or you fall in the good old comfort zone again. It feels so good you don't want to leave, and the thought of just returning to that discomfort makes you trembling already, but you do it anyway. And what that does to you trains you to be resilient, right? Just like I said earlier. And the more you do it, the more you continue it, the fact that you continue the journey of doing intentional discomfort after you failing many times along the ways. Maybe there's something that you don't want, that's something you're not satisfied of, but you know that this is the right thing to do, and you continue anyway. That, my friend, is another form of discomfort, another form of intentional discomfort, of not give up, basically. And it teaches you to view setbacks as data points for growth rather than reasons to quit. So you review your mistakes, you see why I did that, what thought process that lead to that, and how can I change that thought process, right? Every setbacks, you learn something new. So maybe in your mind, you may want to change the word failure into lessons, and that will change your attitude towards it. And the next time you make it, you may not feel as bad. Oh my god, don't be too hard on yourself. Just view it as lessons and learn from it. The important thing is always try to stand up after the fall. So the final point is it cultivates your mental toughness. It relates to what I just talked about. So for me, the practice of daily discomfort directly helped me navigate a real-world challenge with greater ease, right? This is like doing over and over a discomfort thing, it becomes easier, right? So that's the small thing. You change not just that not just about that particular thing that it becomes easier with time, but also in the long term, right? You may develop this mental toughness, this attitude towards doing things. You know that when you embrace intentional discomfort, you will have reward, deserving reward, deserving results, good consequences. So you develop that kind of pathway thinking. So next time you start big, you go high. You're not afraid. You're not scared. But instead, you be logical. You be rational about it. You see the problems in it, see through the fear, the anger, and you see right into its core of whatever the big challenge that you may face upon. And you see it as a wall that you try to climb, or you try to break through. How to break that wall? Are there loopholes? Are there cracks? Do I have tools? Do I have somebody's help? Do I have knowledge on that wall and how to break it? Right? Something like that. Just an analogy. And here's the final message I want to send to everyone, and for me as well. This is still the some things that I'm working on. So this is the 7-day discomfort kickstart. Just give yourself 1 day at first, maybe not 7 days. That's a bit long. So firstly, you start an actionable challenge invitation. You start your 1 day intentional discomfort. You put it. You can write in your note. You write it down as my own 1 day intentional discomfort challenge. You see it as challenge. It can be fun. It is, of course, discomfort, but it may have the fun aspect to it. But just because it is challenge, and if you can finish that, bravo! You're a nice person. You are good. You have the potential to improve. So basically, you increase the value to yourself after you can finish that challenge. You feel more validating. You feel more confident in what you're doing. Just 1 day at first, okay? And that list should emphasize on achievable daily steps. Just like you notice, like you don't exercise enough, just for 1 day you exercise for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, even 5 minutes if you feel like that's really difficult for you. You lose sleep, you don't sleep enough, you try to figure out whether that problem stems from an actual symptom like insomnia, or because of your bad habit. What something can change, you change it. If something can be changed, you change it, right? So just write it down. Just write something you want to change, something that you can achieve. Just leave early tonight, leave the phone. That's achievable, right? That's can do. And when you get lost and when you feel the urge, always remind yourself of that challenge, of the reason you start, of just basically saying, no, I'm not doing my whole old habit. I will follow the challenge. I am doing the challenge right now. I will not lie to myself. I will not quit. And I'll find the pathway to change myself, to improve myself. And this is something that I want, something that is good for me. Always remind yourself of that. And some examples you can do, and you provide 3 to 4 simple low barrier example of that. Some simple things that you can do, like 3 minutes cold shower, asking a difficult question to yourself, or ask your friend. I don't know if asking your friend that would do anything, but asking difficult question for yourself, like, what do I want? What is the best thing I can do right now? What's the next step, right? Try to figure out. Try to use your brain, right? The more you use the brain, the more you become self-aware, and the more you become self-aware, the more prone you are to do intentional discomfort things. Walking in silence for 15 minutes. That's my go-to stuff, right? I usually, when my brain gets cluttered, I just walk out. Walk outside, see the world in silence. See the people around me. Know that this world still exists. It's still going. To remind myself not to get lost in my own mind. Keep myself from going crazy. And you may find peace while doing that. So from after the simple things, if you can complete that, you move on to the next hard thing, like learn new skill, doing this exercise, finishing work, right? Meeting these people, giving presentation in front of public, negotiate with some businessman if you're business man. But if along the way, whether it's simple or difficult challenges, you may fail along the way. And as I said earlier, failing is not over. Always figure out what you can learn from that, why you did wrong, right? Figure all sorts of questions around it and try to do better next time. Because what it really means to fail is you repeat something that you failed the first time again. You repeat that thing again without learning from it, without changing any of it. That's what failing is about. So never give up, never repeat the same thing twice. Always learn from it. Try to, if you're not good at learning, force yourself to learn. Force yourself in an environment you have to learn, right? As I said, human brain is resilient, man. Always trust it. It can adapt. Do not think that you are weak. Do not think that you cannot change. You can. That's the thing. That's the thing about human. You can always change. You can always become better and be more sophisticated. You can be more organized, more focused, more hardworking. You can do everything. It's just about your mind, right? But there's this one thing people often say, that you just try to change your mind, change how to think, just do other things. But the thing is, the brain that you have yourself is in a very bad situation, very bad condition, basically. It is in lazy mode, let me put it that way. It's just not familiar with doing discomfort thing. That's the thing. So when you try to force yourself to do hard things right away, to do like lock in, do big things without training your brain to get familiar, to give up comfort zone and go into discomfort first, it will easily get you to fall into the loophole of good old comfort zone. It will destroy you, because you feel like if the more you step up, the more you just fall down, because you don't have real progress, you don't have real tracks, don't have real plan of changing the way you think, changing your mind. It's neuroplasticity. You don't change it at first. Of course, when you do big things, it will become difficult, and it will be more difficult because you don't change your brain at first. So what you need to do is just set out a challenge, do simple discomfort things first, the stuff that you know is good for you, because when you do that, your brain gradually change, and when it changes to become the better version of it, better thinking skills of it, the next time you do the next hard thing, become much easier. I'm not saying easier in terms of like the productivity or effectiveness you have in doing that, but what I mean is easier in getting yourself to do that. That's the first thing, right? Many people fail stuff just because they don't start. They don't get themselves to relearn the stuff, to practice the skills, to learn daily. That's why the knowledge and the skill will fall out eventually, and will fall very slow like this, fall very fast. They don't practice daily. Just because they don't start, you see the problem? They can be a very good person of doing stuff when they already start, but they are not good at starting doing stuff. So what you want an image of you is that you are the person that is good at starting doing uncomfortable things that are good for you. Basically what I'm trying to say here is have to just get good at starting doing things. After you get good at it, you can do everything, man. You can do everything. I'm not lying. Write that down. You can do everything. Just start. The last thing, impact and next steps, is reiterate the long-term benefits. And just write those benefits that you already know down, and notice the benefits you have from doing it. You notice, I have better sleeping pattern, I have better routine, better skills, I become healthier, I become more I think faster. Well, that's good things. Just write it down. Remind yourself why this is good for you. Because when you give yourself already good reasons, good benefits, the next time if you ever want to avoid hard things, you remind yourself that is very concrete foundational motivation. It is relevant to you, why that is benefit to me, what that actually improved my life. Don't give yourself illusion. Actually notice what things it has improved of me. And feel free to share your journey in your comment. As in what's like after doing the challenge, or overall. So sometimes of doing discomfort, you notice how that changed how you think, and you can become the comedy of growth. That's a very nice thing. I think that I couldn't, that wouldn't be incomplete. That wouldn't be complete without me mentioning some few tricks and tips of how to make doing discomfort things, or start doing discomfort things, easier. Okay, let's think of something particular, something specific here. For me, in my situation, for example, when I do technical problems like homework, I design stuff, right? I notice that when I do it, and I think of doing it, instinctively I think, this stuff it makes me uncomfortable. I don't want to do it. It's hard. But then you stop right there. I stop right there. I don't just dismiss that thought. and just assume that it's true. I ask myself, I confront those thoughts. I really ask myself, okay, so I think that it makes me feel uncomfortable. Why does it make me feel uncomfortable? Oh, because it's hard? Why is it hard? Oh, because there are aspects of it that are hard to think about, hard to come up idea, hard to design. And drawing takes a lot of effort. So I reconstruct the way I think. The thing, okay. I validate my points of thinking. It is hard to come up with idea. It is actually hard. But the latter part, designing it, actually drawing it out on paper takes a lot of effort. I dismiss that as a challenge. I essentially think that anything that after you come up with an idea, you just apply that, you just do it, and it just takes effort and time, it is actionable, well then nothing is difficult anymore. It just takes time and effort. That's the thing, right? So I dismiss the latter part, and now I only left with hard to come up with an idea. So that's the only reason it makes me feel I try to resist doing that things. So to continue this, I continue to ask myself, how important is the action of doing that to me right now? What priority is it in? I have to submit that in a few days. So that's its priority. That's its time and place. I have to finish it soon. So I cannot delay that any longer. I have to do it sooner or later. But I don't know how long it will take. So the sooner it is, the better it is, right? I have to do it as soon as possible. That's the thing. The first thing I have is I have to do it as soon as possible. The second thing is it's hard to come up with an idea. That's two ideas that I have right now. That creates discomfort. If I don't, if I dismiss the first idea of I have to do this as soon as possible, I dismiss that and just have this idea of it's hard to come up with new ideas, I will find ways instinctively to procrastinate doing it. You'll find other things that make me feel good, try to forget it in a moment of the task that is right there. But now it's different. I don't dismiss that first thought. I keep it in mind. I have to do it as soon as possible. So I have no other choice of doing it right now, right then. So a new idea comes. Replace the first idea of doing it as soon as possible as the idea of doing it right now. Doing it right now. And I list out the things that I need to do. The first thing first is, of course, come up with a new idea. So now I only left with the only option. It's kind of like you gradually removing the thought process you have along the way, the points that is, the obstacle that are stopping you in the way of doing that. And eventually you have no other choice. You're left with the only choice of doing it. And when you actually start doing it, now here's the next part of my thought process. When I, in that specific circumstance, I try to do that designing problem. I try to do that drawing homework, right? I think of the way I can make it easier to come up with a new idea, because I know that right when I have finished coming up with a new idea of how to design, it's already like I already have gone like 90% of the way, and 10% just mindless drawing. It's not really mindless, but it's easier to just draw and just lay it out on the paper, right? So I try to think of how I can come up with an idea. I saw it as difficult at first, and I asked myself the question, why is it difficult? Why coming up with a new idea of drawing and designing stuff with specific measure on it is difficult? And gradually I figure out why. Oh, because it's hard to come up with a shape. You see, you transform your thoughts from vague. Coming up with a new idea is difficult. That idea is still vague. It's not specific enough. You don't understand the core problem of why it's difficult in the first place. So I try to remove the vagueness aspect of it and replace with specific. Oh, because it has many problems, like difficult to imagine the shape I'm about to draw, hard to hard to define the purpose of designing it, hard to think of the material it will need in order to produce it, right? So I will try to solve each one by one. Oh, so I can imagine it like this. I imagine my head, I sketch it out on the paper, I use the help of the chatbot. The second my second point is, what is my second point is material, right? Something like that. Yeah, the material, I find like some prototype material on the internet, like metal stuff, and I research into the characteristic of each type of material and what it can fit into what model of designing. So basically it's a very technical problem, and after I figure out all the difficult points I have along the way, I finally tackle and come up with the new idea itself. I myself has complete the task that I thought it was impossible. It was difficult. Right when I finish that, everything else become easier. So what you can learn from my specific situation lesson is just start small. Tackle your thought process. Make everything like break down into small parts and solve each one by one. Thinking in structure. You must have principle, right, for yourself. And don't be scared of your thoughts. It's just your thought. The thing is difficult because you think it is. To other people, other people can do that. For example, you just see a very obvious example out there. Your friends can do this stuff. So it is not objectively difficult. They can do it, you can do it. Hey, they can do it, you can do it. So that's just a small tip and trick that I give you. I think there are many things more. Yeah, but I don't remember all of them now. I think that's a long enough video. Oh my god, I don't know if I ever made a 15 minutes video before, but this has been a good talk, guys. I hope you will embrace the journey of doing discomfort things well for yourself. Don't be scared. It will be a new start. It will be a nice journey, I promise you. Yes, it's difficult, but always remind yourself of the purpose of doing that, why it feels discomfort. And it's always has up and down in life. If you have down, if you have up, like comfort zone, you have down like bad consequence. But you have down first, discomfort, good discomfort, you have good results, good consequence. So anyways, learning from my lessons, and I will continue my growth journey of this. Maybe in the future I'll come back to this topic and talk about how doing discomfort things, and talk about more examples of discomfort things that I do in my life, right? To be inspiration for everyone. I have many people that are also inspirational in my life, and inspired me to do that in the first place. I just learned about it myself. And so now I have that knowledge and I have that experience. I just want to share with you guys, and I want to help people. And I hope you guys have a good day. Yeah, doing hard things.